What is up, YouTube? I'm back with another video today, and I've got this amazing video planned out for you guys today. In today's video, we will be learning how to create this awesome animated slide design in PowerPoint. And I'll be teaching you in a step-by-step tutorial so that you can create this kind of a slide design for your presentation as well. Now, if this is not the kind of design that you're looking for, I would still recommend that you watch the video till the end. The things that you learn in this video can actually be applied to a wide variety of slides in your presentation. So make sure that you stick around and watch the video till the end, because I'm sure you will learn a lot. So without further ado, let's just jump onto my screen and we'll get started with the tutorial.
All right, so as always, we'll start with a blank slide. So let me just add a new blank slide so we have a clean slate. You can either delete these layouts or you can just go to layout and choose a blank layout. Beautiful. Now, in this slide, I've put a colorful background. There are two ways you could do this. You could either go to format slide, format background, and you can change the color over here to a solid fill, or what you could also do is insert a shape. Go to insert shapes, insert a rectangle, hold the shift, rather not hold the shift, you just go down all the way. Just close this and right click on it, format shape. This is the rectangle that we have added, and we'll just make no background, so all the background lines, all the border will be no line, so there is no border. And for the solid fill, we'll again go and choose the color that we like. I like to do it this way because it allows me to control which part of the slide I want to show in a particular color. That's wonderful when we need to actually have a part of slide showing a particular color. So I'll make sure that it's always, since it's the first element added to the slide, it's always going to be on the back. Perfect. So now that we've started, the next thing that I'm going to do is just create the title and the page number. All right. So for the title, I'm just going to add a text box over here, and I'm just going to type out the text that we have written over here, which is our company price packages. All right, now I'm going to make it bold and change the font to Montserrat, which is my favorite font. Increase the font size a little bit to 24. That looks nice already. As you can notice, even on the slight gray background as opposed to white background, this black actually stands out and it makes it look different. So that's just a little ninja tip for you right over there. White and black would generally go well, but sometimes it's a little too sharp for some people. So you want to make sure that either tone down the black color that you've used over here to make it slightly gray, or you can use, instead of a white background, you can use a grayish background. But we're going to change the color of the font anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and choose the color that we've used over here. These are customized colors that we've used for the brand. So before I do that though, let me just cut it over here and paste it so that we can align the text right with the text over here. I think it's using 26 points. Sorry, that's 16, 26. Yeah, that should do it. I think there's something wrong with the fonts that I've used over here. 24, and that's Montserrat bold. So we'll make sure that we have used the same fonts over here. Montserrat bold and 24. All right. Now I'm going to change the color of the font. As you can see, I don't have the color that I've used on the previous slide in this palette that I have over here. So there are two ways you could do it. One is slightly more complex, which I'll probably explain how you could how to add colors to your palette over here in another video. But the easier way for you to do that is just go to more colors and use the eyedropper tool and go back to the slide. You can actually choose this color, which I am well aware that they're the same colors, and just make sure that everything is selected over here and use this color over here. Wonderful. So now that we've got the title planned out, I'm going to be working on the page number. So I like to use, sometimes, especially when it's a corporate presentation, a plain page number just doesn't look nice. So I've created a small little design over here. Let me just zoom in right here for you. If I can just zoom in. So I've got multiple circles that I've used with a page number and a small line which is barely visible, but it does enhance a bit of look. So these are basically the color palettes that I've chosen for the brand that I made this presentation for. But how do you create that? It's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and create it. You'll get to learn that very quickly. We'll insert a circle. We'll just go insert, shapes, and use a circle. Now hold the shift button down and drag the circle. This way you want to make sure that you have a perfectly round circle. Otherwise, when you insert, let me just go back and show you how you insert a shape. And when you don't hold the shift, you will get a circle, but it's not going to be perfectly round. So in order to avoid that, either you could just go back over here. One thing you'd want to do is just make sure that if you've not got the right circle, then you can always make sure that you can click on the shape and go shape format, and make sure that you make sure that your length and breadth of the shape is just the same, and then lock it. So this will ensure that the circle is always going to be is going to be a perfect circle. Now you want to press the shift key on your keyboard and drag it from the corner, so it'll always increase in the right size, as you can see that. Okay, so now that we have that, we have two circles. Let me just put it to the right size. In fact, let me just delete this, and I'm just gonna, I think we have 6 circles over there. Let me just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles. So I'm just going to quickly add 6 circles. Now, so there are 2 ways for you to duplicate the circle that we have and make it 6 circles. So one is you can press Ctrl D and just press it 5 times more, because we already have a circle and we need 5 more circles. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And make sure that we select all the circles right here. And then we want to go to align and align to the top. Now you just want to make sure that you have one circle which is spread out. Now they're all aligned to the same height. Just select all the circles, go back to align from arrange, and that's on the shape format, and then say distribute horizontally. As you can see, there's an overlap, but don't worry about that. You probably want to just make sure that they're spread out perfectly. But in this case, anyway, we're going to reduce the size of the circle, so that doesn't really matter that much. So let's go ahead and just select them all and then press shift and drag it from the corner to reduce the size. You can make it as small as you want, and then we'll just drag it. Make sure that you zoom in over there so that you've got the right shape, and then drag it to the corner. I'm just going to increase the size and make sure that we distribute it properly, so that I think that's a good size for us to have the circles. And I'm just gonna decrease the size once again, and once again go to shape format. Once all of them are selected, click on arrange, align, and distribute horizontally. Now I'm just gonna group them together by pressing Ctrl Option and G on Mac keyboard and Ctrl Alt G on a Windows keyboard, or rather Ctrl G on Windows keyboard. I don't have a Windows computer in front of me, so I'm not sure about the shortcut. But that's how you could group it. The alternate way is just make sure that you right click on it and then make sure that you click on group. Now since this is already grouped, you're not going to get that option. You only have an option to ungroup right now. But when it is ungrouped, so for example, let me just do that once again. Right click on it and then group. That's how you could group it. So by grouping, you make sure that you're not going to lose one or the other circles somewhere in the middle. Now, What we want to do is right click over here. Let's zoom in. Right click on all the circles. Make sure that we have, click on format shape, or format object in this case. No line. Get rid of the border. So now I just want to make sure that we've got this complete circle and equidistant from each other as we have on this slide. You can, it doesn't really matter, you can actually have, the distance can change for your slide, but I just want to make sure that we replicate this whole slide as is. So to do that, I'm just going to drag it to this slide. I've taken the circle over here, and now I'm just going to make sure that I have first circle aligned to this last circle aligned to this last circle, and then we select this circle, make sure that we drag it to the left, it doesn't really matter, we just want to make sure you don't have to drag it exactly as it is. Make sure you select only one circle at a time. Just make sure that you've aligned the first and the last circle appropriately, and then you just select all the circles and use the align tool to distribute it horizontally, so that's equidistant from each other. Now I want to make sure that we have the right colors chosen for each of the circles. So to do that, we're just going to go to the color option, or we can just right click and go to format shape, and on the format shape tab, on the format shape menu, I'm going to go to more colors, just the way we chose the different colors the last time around. I'm going to go to each of the circle and choose a different color. Here we've already chosen this color, but I just want to make sure that we have the right color, so I'm going to repeat this process once again. Let me just fast forward this process so that I can just fill out colors for each of these circles, so that you don't have to wait and watch that. I'll be right back. Alright, wonderful. So as you can see, I've created a copy of this design over here. I'm just going to cut this from here, or rather I'm just going to make sure that it is aligned over here to these circles. I'm going to cut it from here and paste it on the slide. Make sure that I delete this first. Wonderful. Now I'm going to make sure that I want to get this page number right over here. This is the slide number over here. So one way to do that is just create a text box and just add the slide number. You could create a text box and just make it transparent and add a number over here. But the problem with that is you'll have to change the number for each slide. I don't want to do that, right? What I want to do is, as soon as I add a new slide, I just copy paste this over here onto a new slide, and the number should change automatically. So that way, when you rearrange the slides, you delete the slides, you still want to make sure that the number is correct on the slide. The slide number is appropriately represented. So to do that, I've got a very nifty trick over here for you. What you need to do is just go to the view menu and make sure that you're on the correct slide, and then go to view menu, go to slide master, and on the slide master you see this. Some of the slides will have this page number. You'll have this box with a hash symbol, which basically represents the page number. You can copy this, close the slide master, and paste it right over here. Just make sure that it is the right size and font. You want to make sure that it is center aligned and also middle. We'll zoom in and fix the alignment appropriately. As you can see, it is all center aligned to the other circles. So now you can very quickly add these transparent lines that we've used over here. For example, over here, you may not be able to see this, but even if you don't want to add it, that's okay. This is good to go. Nevertheless, you can still, if you do feel like adding it, the easy way to do that is just go to insert and you click on shapes, choose a line, and just add 2 lines. So I'm going to add this 1 line over here, and I'm going to choose a lighter gray color which is darker than this background so that the line is visible. I am going to change the dash type to a dash so that that's visible. Just increase the width a little, And then I'm just gonna press Control, Option and Shift, and then drag it with the mouse to make sure that I replicate this line over here. Wonderful. As you can see, just gonna zoom in and show you once again. As you can see, this is aligning with the slide. Let me just close this right here. And this is aligning with the slide. As you can see, this is aligning with the slide end, and this is aligning with the circle. So now we've created this page number. Now we're going to create these boxes, and then we're going to add text to it. So to do that, it's very straightforward. You need to go to Insert, click on Shapes, click on a curved rectangle, and I'm actually going to just make sure that I've got the right size over here. So I'm going to click on Curved Rectangle. All right, sorry, I'll go back to Shapes, Insert, Shape, and just click on a curved rectangle. There you go. And again, Control, Option and Shift, and then drag it to the next box. And then I'm gonna again create a Control, Option and Shift, Command, Option and Shift, and just increase the size of the box, and then also fit this length and breadth of this rectangle exactly to how it is on the slide. All right, so now that we have the three shapes, we're just going to copy this, rather cut it and put it onto the next slide so that we have it exactly in the place that we that we have for the previous slide. I'm just going to select all these, go to Format, Format Object. As usual, we're going to make sure that there's no line, and we're going to change the colors shortly. But before we do that, I'm just going to add a little drop shadow. For now, I'm just going to keep the color as white so that you can see the drop shadow. As you can see the color of the slides, you almost feels like it's a hole into the background. But let's go back and add to the shadow. We'll go to the presets. You're going to select this middle one, which is a center offset, and just increase the transparency a little bit. Adjust the size and increase the blur. As you can see, I would want to decrease the size once again and increase the blur a little bit more. If you want, we can change the color. We can also darken it a little bit by decreasing the transparency. Wonderful. So now that we have these three shapes, it's time for us to add the color. Now you can go with the color scheme of your brand. In this case, I'm going to be choosing the color scheme which is mentioned, which I've used on the previous slide. So let me just very quickly check. This is white, so I don't need to check the color, but just make sure that we have got the right color over here. Okay. Alternatively, all right. So this one over here will have this color, and this one I've used. I think this one. Just want to make sure. To do that, I'll just select this and more colors. Again, use the eyedropper tool to click on it, and now you'll see that I'll have a new color selected over here. So that's going to be very useful. Now I can just go back to my previous slide, select the box, click on this, and I know that this is the right color now. All right, so we have the three boxes already aligned. Now I'm going to just add these text boxes so that we can fill in the information that is relevant for the three packages. For that, I'm going to use the text box. Just click on it and make sure that you drag it appropriately. And here I'm going to just type in the amount, which is 750 over here. I'm going to increase the size. Make sure that we're using Montserrat font. Make sure that we're using Montserrat bold. So I'm just going to make sure that we have that selected. We're going to center align it and middle align it so that it's perfectly in the center of the box. And here I would want to choose a different color as opposed to white, obviously so that we can see the number. But rather than choosing black, I just want to make sure that we're choosing one color from the color scheme so that it looks more consistent and is consistent for the rest of the slide. So I'm going to choose this color, To do that, I'm just going to go to the font theme color option, and I know that this is the last one that I chose for this box, so I'm just going to use this one. All right, so I'm just going to click on Command, Option, and Shift and drag this box, text box, all the way for all the 3 slides right over here. In fact, let me just make sure that we've got, I'm just going to change the color to white, and I'm going to also drag it to the 3rd box over here. So it's already looking wonderful. Just want to make sure that we've used the right font size. I think it's slightly larger over here, and we're using 37.3. I think that's some formatting issue, but I'm just going to increase this to 36. Just going to lower this a little bit. I'm going to increase this to 36 again, make sure that they're on the same alignment, and increase this to 36 as well. Perfect. So now that we've added the fonts, rather the price of the package, we want to make sure that we add the rest of the information over here. Now that's pretty straightforward to do. So what I'm going to do here is just label the packages first, and then we're going to just copy paste the information, because that's very similar to how we're going to create this text over here. So now I'm just going to once again go back to the text box and choose the option over here, add a text box over here. I'm going to call this box as light. Sorry, that's light as a package. Make sure that it is center aligned and it's middle aligned, and then change the font once again to Montserrat, and Montserrat I want to use the light font, and decrease the font size to about 14. I think that looks nice. Again, I want to change the color of this font over here to a different color, ideally matching this one, or perhaps a gray or a black color. Here I think I've used semi-bold. Let me just check what I've used over here. Yeah, I've used a bold font. So I just want to increase the weight of the font because it's just not visible. I'm going to change this to bold. All right, and 14 is good. So we're just going to use this again. Use the same trick. Press Command, Shift, and Option on the Mac keyboard, and just drag it to the next box. And then I'm going to highlight this and make this as white. We're going to change the color scheme for the font from this as well. But let me just create this box over here, and this I'm gonna call this box as, let me just check what we've written, light, standard, and specialized. So this is going to be called as standard, and let's just make sure that the box is slightly bigger. Don't worry about the alignment, we'll fix that. And this is going to be called specialized, and let's make sure that it fits on the box properly. All right, so we're going to use this text box, all the 3. Just make sure that you've selected it. Go to Arrange, go to Align, and Arrange you're going to find in the shape format. So we choose all 3 shapes, 3 elements. Go on Shape Format and click on Arrange, or we can just go on Shape Format on Align, and make sure that we have aligned it to the center of the box. We do the same thing over here. You can again either press Ctrl Y. In this case, I just want to show this once again to you. You can either go on Home, Arrange, and then to the Align tool, or you can just click on Shape Format, click on Align, and make sure that it's aligned to center of this box. Let's do this very quickly over here. So I'm just going to press Ctrl Y, and that'll align the complete fonts over here. Now, as you can see, there is a bit of a gap over here. We're just going to use the Align tool once again to make sure that they're in the middle. And yeah, they seem to be perfect. We'll just move this number to the bottom, align to the bottom, so that, yeah, that was the problem. I think this was aligned a little up. Now the other thing that I want to do is, in fact, rather than moving to the bottom, I want to make sure that they're aligning to the middle, and then I just want to make sure that they're slightly lower so that we have enough space. Okay, so I guess that's pretty straightforward on how we include or add the text over here. So I'm just going to very quickly just copy and paste this information from here onto these boxes. So it's going to be pretty straightforward. You can do this for any slide yourself. And we're also going to copy this. In case you're wondering how we've got this dollar sign over here, it's pretty straightforward. You can actually just click on a new insert, a new text box, and go to the, just include a text box over here. Click on Shift and 4, insert a dollar sign. I've used a Montserrat font over here if I'm not wrong. So I'm just going to use that. Just decrease, make sure that the font is white. Decrease the size of the font. Make sure that you've used Montserrat Light. In this case, I think I've used Montserrat Light. Let me just check it once again. Yep, it's 12 size and Montserrat Regular. So I'm just going to make sure that we have the same thing. It's 12 size and Montserrat Regular. Perfect. So you can make sure that it is closed. Well, I'm just going to change the number anyway. So let's make it, what's the number that I've used over here? Let me just very quickly check. Okay, 1100 and 2450. So $1,100, and this is going to be 2450. And let me just quickly add this dollar sign over here. I'm going to just use the same key, shortcut key, to duplicate it, and that's about it. Now I'm just going to copy paste these options from here for these boxes. Rather, let me just copy paste it from here so that we have the color and the information matching. Now let's just go ahead and copy paste the information for the third box as well. One thing to note over here is that I would ideally want to increase, see how I've used the font is of the same size, but just by making this box a little bigger, as you can see over here, just by making this box, in fact I would ideally want to increase the size over here, just make it a little larger than the other two, and this one just stands out a little. So even this we can increase it to 16. Make sure it is center aligned. Yep, so just make sure that it is slightly on the lower side as compared to the other three. And what you've got over here is a box, or the middle one, which is standing out. You can actually make this one the last one. You can actually use the same settings for the last one, and any box that you want, any price package that you want to stand out, you can actually make it slightly bigger as compared to the others, and just increase the font size of either the name of the package or the price of the package, and use rest of the same settings for all the fonts, and boom, you've got this amazing box which stands out from the rest of the two. Now one thing to note is that I've used Montserrat for the price and the package name, but for the other information I've used Source Sans Pro. Now that's a combination that you can actually get for Montserrat. Now if you don't know where to get these fonts, Source Sans Pro or Montserrat, they're actually Google fonts. They're completely free. It's pretty straightforward. Let me just show you how you can do that. I'm just going to go to, well, that's my channel. I would invite you to subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you're subscribed. It's called Art of Presentations. I'm going to leave a link in the description below, so make sure that you subscribe to this channel, or just click on subscribe to this video. I've got some amazing videos that I mentioned that I've already planned out, so make sure that you don't miss out. All right, how do you get these fonts? You just go to fonts.google.com. Oops, I have my caps lock on. It doesn't really matter when we're adding fonts. Easy way to get it is you go to search and type in Montserrat. There you go, you have the font right here. It's completely free, so don't worry about that. It's, you don't have to worry about it. You just download the font family, and it'll give you all the styles, all the various extra bold, semi-bold, and all these fonts, and you can easily use it. Similarly, you can just go back and just type in Source Sans Pro. There you have it. We just click on it, download the family, and boom, you have that font right in front of you. Make sure that you restart your presentation if you already have some open PowerPoint files. For some people, you might have to actually restart your computer as well. So don't worry about that. It's pretty straightforward. All you need to do is just download it and then double click on the font files to just install them. So coming back to our presentation file, let's just open that once again. All right, so now that we have this designed, I'm just going to copy paste these as well, just to save some time. Now that you've already understood how we need to add this information, it's pretty straightforward from here. Now, one thing to note over here for you specifically would be notice how I've used the bold font in combination with the light font. So if you go back to Source Sans Pro, you might notice that I'm using a light font over here, but when I click on Sales Cycle, I'm using Source Sans Pro semi-bold. That makes a big difference. The combination of a bold font and a light font can actually give this kind of a pop-out effect, and that's something that I use very often, and I like to do that. So make sure that if this is something that you like, that this is how you could actually do it for your presentation as well. All right, now that we've designed the slide, I think the last thing that we've left to do is create animation for the slide. Actually, before we go ahead and animate the slide, make sure that you've grouped these boxes together. You want to make sure that you've grouped it, so you can just press Ctrl G on Windows, or like I showed you earlier in this video, just right click on it and press Group and Group. Similarly, you want to make sure that you do this for all these boxes together. Make sure everything is selected over here, and I'm just going to group it over here. Press Ctrl Y or use the shortcut Command Option G on Mac. All right, so now that we've grouped it, we're going to add animations, and it's just going to take 1 more minute, and I think we'll have an awesome slide ready for us. So we're just going to click on this. We go to Animations tab, go to the Animations tab, scroll all the way down, and you want to click on Rise Up. Okay, you want to click on Rise Up. So you see how this comes and just pops down a little bit. So you want to make sure that you do this for the other two as well. Just click on them. Don't worry about the timing. We're just going to fix that one in a short while. Just go all the way down and just click on Rise Up. All right, now you see these numbers over here, 1, 2, and 2. It basically shows that these two are going to come together, and this is going to come. These are the number of clicks that you need for these animations to show up. So if you don't change anything, once the slide is loaded, this animation is going to come first, and these two are going to come together, is what basically these numbers are representing. Now to fix that, we can go to the animations pane, which is going to open up over here on the right. We want these animations to automatically come once we have loaded this slide. So we're going to change everything. We're just going to select everything and just going to say with previous. So what we are trying to say over here to PowerPoint is that we want, once the transition of the slide is over, once this slide opens up, we want all of these to come with the slide. We don't want to press any button. We don't want any clicks, and these animation boxes should load. All right, so what we also want to do, if you noticed over here, I had this option where they showed differently, not all showed at the same time. As you can see, the first one comes first and then the second and third. To create that kind of an effect, also, as you can see, all of them are coming with previous, so there's no after click option over here. So create that kind of an effect. In order to create that kind of an effect, what we need to do is just make sure that we add a little bit of a delay. Now notice that we have a duration of 1 second added to each of these boxes. So we're going to add a delay of 25 seconds for the first one. So just say 25 seconds. The next one, we're going to add 0.5 seconds. Sorry, for the first one, we're going to add 0.25 seconds. The next one, we're going to add 0.5 second. And the next one, we're going to add, the third one, we're going to add a 0.75 second delay. What this does is it just delays for these boxes to come. So let's just see how they will look. Perfect. So now that we have got this design layout done, we've created this design from scratch. I hope you've really liked this video. I hope you've learned something new in this video.
I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you did, and if you learned something new, my only request to you would be make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel and help me spread the word around. It takes a lot of effort to create these videos, and I'm bringing you this so that you can benefit and master the art of presentations. So until next time, this is Shroth signing off from Art of Presentations, and I'll see you in my next video.